If a woman doesn't want you, she's going to show it. It just won't always be in way you expect. A lot of men miss signs, not because they're clueless, but because they don't want to believe what's right in front of them. The truth is, when someone's not interested, they didn't always come out and say it directly. Most of the time, it's in the small things. The way she texts host ox to you, or the energy she'll give us off when you're around. Welcome Mito man, off. Substance. If you've ever felt like you are chasing a woman who's slipping further away, or you've been confused by mixed signals, this one's for you. We're going to talk about what it actually looks like when a woman just isn't feeling it anymore, or maybe whereas. This isn't about bashing women or playing games. It's about clarity. Bess, when a woman doesn't want you, she usually won't tell you straight up, but her actions will. And once you learned, read those signals without second-guessing yourself, it saves you time, energy, and frustration. You stop trying to force something that was never going to work. And instead, you keep your self-respect intact. We're not talking about moments where she's just buoy or distracted. This is about consistent patterns, things she do silently say, I'm not into you, look at once all and to recognize these signs. You'll stop chasing what's not meant for you and you'll start investing your time where it actually matters. So, in this video, I'm breaking down 5 clear signs that a woman doesn't want you. These aren't vague ideas, they're patterns of behavior that you'll start noticing once you know what to look for. Let's get into it. She keeps you around but doesn't choose you. She keeps you around but doesn't choose you. There's a big difference between a woman liking your company and actually wanting to be with you. A lot of men get stuck in this middle zone, where they're present in her life, but never really invited in. You text often, maybe even hang out sometimes, but there's no forward motion, nothing progresses. You stay in the same spot while she keeps you close enough to you, but far enough not to commit. What usually happens is, yourself, that you're just taking things low, or that she's not ready for something serious. But deep down, you can feel something's off. You show interest, you stay available, you try to be consistent, and in return, she gives you grims. A dry text here and there. Maybe a quick call, maybe even a late nighty once in a while, but it's never solid, it's never clear. And this is the kind of situation where you're emotionally invested, but she's emotionally casual. You're thinking about how to move things forward while she's thinking about how to keep things where they are without thing to fully let you go. It's not Thatcher's playing some evil game. It's just that she doesn't feel strongly enough about you to commit, but shadows want to close the door either. Why? Because having you around gives her attention, validation, and a safety net. It costs you nothing and gives her just an hour. Picture this. You've began texting her every day for a few weeks. You've asked her to hang out a few. She says she's busy, but never offers another day. Then on Friday night, she calls you out off no hair because her plans fell through. You spend the night talking, maybe even hanging out. The next day, silence again. That's not a rel, it's emotional convenience. And the longer you stay in thought space, the harder it is to walk away. You start hoping that maybe one day she'll come around. But people don't come around one, they already know what they feel. If she wanted to move forward with you, she would. If she saw you as someone she genuinely wanted, ya wouldn't have to keep trying to prove yourself. Ya wouldn't be sitting in this blurry zone, wondering where you. If you find yourself being kept around without real progress, no commitment, no intimacy, no clear interest, it's not an accident, it's a quiz. She may not be saying it out loud, but the message is clear. You're a net, the one she's choosing. She's just net ready to let you go completely. Her energy drops the moment you show interest. To her energy drops the moment you show interest. One of the clearest signs that a woman doesn't want you is how quickly her vibe changes when you real interest. In the beginning, she might be playful, curious, and even flirty. She replies fast, throws in emojis, starts conversations, and then of nowhere, her energy drops. What changed? You started making your intentions known. Some men think this sudden shift means they did something wrong. Maybe they texted too much. Maybe they complimented her too early. But most of the time, the issue isn't how you said it. It's that she was never thought into you to begin with. She liked its attention, the back and forth, the early interaction, but the things became real. Her interest. This happens a lot when a woman enjoys being admired but doesn't actually want anything deeper with you. So when you finally express interest, either by making a move, asking her out, or even just showing consistency, her energy takes a dive. Replies get slower. Her tone gets colder. She stops putting in effort. It's confusing because it feels like shelled you on and maybe shed, but more often than not, she was just entertaining the attention without sinking too far ahead. She wasn't planning to take it anywhere, and it got serious. It became uncomfortable for her. Not because you did anything wrong, but because she didn't want it to go there. You'll notice this pattern if you pay attention. A woman who's into ya get weird when you show interest. She wouldn't pull back when you open up a little. In fact, she usually may share energy or even increase hers. Bout of her interest was surface level. Your fit makes her realize, I don't want this guy to think I'm serious. So she starts backing away. The mistake a lot of guys make here is doubling down. They think she was into me before, so maybe you need to remind her, so they start dreaming harder. Longer texts, more compliments, more invites, but it doesn't fix anything. It just makes the up more obvious. When her energy drops after you show interest, take that for what it is. It's a signal that she wasn't halfway in, and now that it's real, she's out. And that's okay. You don't need to fight for someone who is meet you halfway. Let her pull back and chase. She makes you work for bare minimum, and 3, she makes you work for bare minimum attention. When a womanly likes you, attention isn't something you have to earn, it flows naturally. You don't need to keep revenge yourself just to get a reply as smile or a simple conversation. But when she doesn't really want you, the smallest bit of attention feels like your reward you have to chase, and that's a problem. You find yourself doing most of work. You're the one starting every conversation. You're always the one asking questions, keeping the chat going, trying to make plans, and what do you get in return? One-word answers, delayed replies, maybe a few dry laughs or emojis if you're lucky, but never real effort, never a genuine back end. It's not that she's too busy. People make time for who they actually care about. If she wanted to talk to you, ya wouldn't be stuck trying to drag energy out of her. She wouldn't be instantly distract, always saying maybe when ya ask her to hang out or acting like a replying to a message is a call. Ya wouldn't be guessing whether or not Shevin wants to hear from you. You'd notice her actions would make it obvious. What's really going on here is simple. She's not that interested. But she's not cutting things off either. So, she throws out just now attention to keep you around, but not enough to build anything real. And Becca's, you wanted to work, you start doing more. You tell yourself, she's just not great at texting her. She's probably just busy, or she'll come around. But deep down, you feel fine. This dynamic drains your energy. You put in effort, get nothing real back, and then start questioning gist. You think maybe you're doing something wrong, when truth is, she's just net meeting you where you are, and here's the part that matters. Attention. Never feel like something ya have to earn from Semyon who claims Tobe interested. Respect, effort, and consistency should come naturally when Samoan values you. If you have to chase craps, it's not Bucka, she's hard to get, it's Picassa's trying to give. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of winning. However, but this isn't a prize to win. I've have to work hard just to get basic communication or common courtesy. Shisknit in it, and it's not your job to convince her. You're not supposed to beg for connection. You're supposed to meet someone who wants it just as much as you don't shows it without making you feel like you're bothering them. She's hot and cold, and it's not by accident. For she's hot and cold, and it's not by accident. One day she's texting you, like crazy, laughing at everything you signed, being super responsive. Then next day she's cold, distant, barilla pleasure disappears altogether. Then just as you start to back off. She comes back again, acting like everything's this back and forth, doesn't just confuse you, it keeps you stuck. And that's the point. When a woman reallows you, her behavior is steady. You didn't have to guess how she feels, but 1. She's unsure, uninterested, or just keeping you around for her own reasons. Her behavior bems inconsistent. That hot and cold pattern isn't random. It's how she keeps control of the situation without having to fully calm it. The hot days make you think there's still hope. You tell yourself she wouldn't be acting like this if she didn't care. But then fickle days hit, and you're stuck trying to figure out what changed. So what do? You chase. You try harder. You make excuses for her behavior. Best, you're focused on the moments when she showed interest. The thing is, F. Simeone's feelings are real. They didn't turn on and off like a switch. They stay consistent. They might have you off days. Everyone does. But they won't treat you like a favorite one day and a stranger the next. That pattern is intentional confusion. It's a tell control. Being hot and cold keeps you infested. It keeps you wondering what you did wrong, what you can fix, or how to get back to those good days. And while you're focused on that, she never fully show up. She gets attention without giving clarity. She gets effort from you without putting anything right on the table. This is especially common one. A woman likes the idea of your interest more than she likes the idea of factually being with you. She enjoys the validation, the comfort, or the emotional boost. But when it starts to feel real, she pulls away. Then when you start to move on, she comes back just now to keep you from leaving. That kind of push-pull interaction drains you. It keeps your mind spinning and your confidence low. You start tying your mood to whether or not she responds instead of asking, why are even chasing someone who isn't meeting you halfway? Real interest-wise, play games. It doesn't come and go. If she's shot and cold, it's not because it's because she's not alone. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you stop giving energy to someone you hope can't offer anything valid. In reader, you're always the backup plan, never the first choice. 5. You're always the backup plan, never the first choice. One of the hardest pills to swallow is reeling her, not her priority. You're just the fullback. You're not the guy she clears her schedule for it. You're the one sheds when she's bored, lonely, or when her other plans fall through. You're not front of her mind. You're somewhere in the background, allows available, but never truly chosen. A woman who reallures you will make space for you. She show interest, make plans, and treat your time like it matters. But when she doesn't see you that way, she won't go out of her way for you. She might still keep you around, though. Why? Because it's convenient. Because knows you'll size when she needs something. Whether it's attention, support, or someone to fill the gap between the people she's actually casing. Here's how it usually plays out. You ask her to hang out on ASA 2. She says she's not sure yet. Might have plans. Saturday comes and goes. No word. Then suddenly, late Sunday night, she texts, "Hey, what are you up to?" That's not someone who your time. That's someone how, through her options, and when non-wise work it out, circled back to you. And if you're always available in that situation, it becomes a pattern. You'll keep showing up thinking, maybe next time, I'll be different, maybe she. Finality. But people don't suddenly wake up and appreciate wave always taken for granted. If chat really saw you as a first choice, Yao wouldn't be waiting around for her leftovers. You'd already part of her plans. This doesn't mean she's being cruel. Sometimes, people didn't even realize they're treating like your safety net. But regardless of their as-on, the outcome's the same. You're giving more than you're getting gunned. She's not meeting you halfway. Banger backup slowly chips away at your confidence. It makes you question your worth, because deep down you feel you're being overlooked, but you keep hoping for a moment. When that changes, that hope keeps you stuck in place. If her energy only shows up when she has nothing better going on, that's no interest, that's convenience. And if you're honest with yourself, you'll probably already know the difference. You deserve to be someone's clear decision, not their last-minute option. If she only reaches out when it's suitable, if she never initiates plans or prioritizes your time, it's time to staff up and she'll come around. You're not meant to play the backup role in your own life. Why men miss these signs until it's too late? Sick. Why men miss the signs until it's too late. Most men don't miss the signs, because they're rebellion. They miss them, because they don't want to believe what those signs actually mean. When a woman's actions are telling you she's not really into it, it's easy to come up with reasons that explain it away. You start looking for hope instead of clarity. You tell yourself she's just buoy. You think maybe she's shy, or you give her of the out thinking that if you stay consistent, she'll come around. That kind of thinking keeps you locked in. You're reading the situation based on how you feel, not what you're reacting, and that's where most guys fall the trap. There's also you've invested time, energy, and maybe even emotion. Walking away would feel like giving up or admitting it didn't work out, and that's not easy. So instead of stepping back, you double down, you try harder, you wait longer, you hold on to the best parts of your interaction with her Andy. It's human to want things to work out. No one wants to admit that someone they care about doesn't feel the same way. But Bellinger, you ignore Thiersons. The more stuck you become, you start adjusting your standards just to stay in her orbit. You start tolerating disrespect, silence, or bare minimum effort. By coast, you hope it's just temporary, but deep down, you know what's going on. Another man miss Thessalines is because a lot of women don't tend things directly. They don't always say, "I'm not into you." Instead, they slowly pull away. They give less and less, and they leave the door open just enough for you to talk. Keep hoping. It's acquiescent rejection, and that makes it hard to recognize, but signs are always there. Inconsistency. The lack of effort, the emotional distance. If you've got to where you stand, that's yours where real interest doesn't leave you. It doesn't leave you constantly second-guessing, or waiting for things to get better. Maintained Thomas these red flags, because they're fused on potential. They're thinking about what could happen instead of what is happening. But potential distant build connection. Action doesn if she's not showing up for you now, she's net waiting to do it later. Once you accept that things become much clearer, you stop chasing mixed signals and start recognizing what a real connection should actually feel like. Steady, mutual, and obvious, not confusing, no training, and definitely not one-sided. What to do when you finally see it clearly. 7. What to do. When you finally see it clearly, Anseo realize she doesn't want you. The next move is simple but not always easy. You walk away. Not out anger, not to prove a point. You do because your time, energy, and self-respect matter. Too many men keep hanging on, hoping she'd change her mind. Hoping one more message here, one more gesture will finally turn things around. It won't. At some point, you have to take responsibility for where you are spending your energy. If you've seen the signs, she's distant, inconsistent, cold, unavailable, then staying in that situation becomes and that choice keeps you stuck. It's not a job to convince you to move B. It's in you to recognize when something isn't working, and have the discipline to step back. This is where a lot of men struggle. Instead of pulling back, they hold on tighter. They turn into fixers. They try to be more understanding, more patient, more available, and in doing that, they abandon their own standards. They forget that connection is a two-way street. If you're doing all the work, it's a performance. And eventually, it burns you out. You've got to wake up to how you're being treated, stop sugarcoating it. If you feel like an option, it's because you are. If you feel overlooked, you are. And if you're constantly unsure about where you stand, it's because she's not giving you stand on the right move isn't chasing more. It's stepping away and resetting your focus. That doesn't mean you become bitter or cold. It means you're clear about what you're willing to accept and what you're not. A woman hoents, you will meet you with that consistency and respect. Yant have code mixed signals or earn her attention like a reward. And here's some straight talk. Don't math at this abother, this is your lesson. Ask yourself, you tolerated half-hearted effort, why you kept showing up for someone who barely showed up for you. The answer to it will tell you more about what needs to change in youth and things she ever says or does. Yeah, of a relationship, warrior, a cousin without hesitation. Butu unleat that when you stop settling for situations where you're tolerated. Let go of the woman who doesn't want you, and more importantly, stop trying to convince her otherwise. That energy pour it back into yourself. Build your confidence, your boundaries, and your clarity. You'll be surprised how much easier things get when you stop chasing what's not meant for you. Summary: the signs were never hidden. You just didn't want to see them. That's what it usually comes down to. Not confusion, not mixed signals, just a refusal to accept what her actions were already telling you. When a woman doesn't want you, it shows. And the longer you ignore that, the more time you waste casing Sam, who's already made her choice. Here's something a lot of men don't like to admit. Sometimes holding in is just another way of avoiding truth. You know she's not into it, but letting go's facing yourself, and that's the most guys avoid. But once you do, everything gets clearer. You stop making excuses for someone else's behavior, and you start taking your power back. If you've seen yourself in any options, it's not a loss, it's a wake-up call. Learn from it. Use it to raise air standards. Your energy is valuable. Give it to someone who actually wants it, not someone who just tolerates it when it's convenient. I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever been in the skinned-up situation? What signs did you and your what helped you move on? I'll be reading through and replying because these are the conversations that matter. Hit that like button if this gave you something to think about, and make sure to subscribe if you want more straight take like this. You're not alone and are not powerless. Keep your standards.